everybody dressed grunge in 1994 when we were preparing the movie. And the movie set a new rule of dressing. You know, I created a whole another fashion landscape.
Welcome to Rodeo Drive, the podcast, the show about the visionaries who keep 3 blocks in Beverly Hills at the forefront of fashion and culture. I'm Kathy Gohari with the Rodeo Drive Committee.
And I'm Lyn Winter, your host of this special edition of Rodeo Drive, the podcast. If you thought you didn't have a clue about fashion, today Mona May, famous costume designer of the 90s teen movie hit Clueless, will set us straight. She joins us on the occasion of the film's 30th anniversary and is preparing to launch her new book, The Fashion of Clueless. We're also joined by Beverly Hills Mayor Sharona Nazarian, a fan of the film, of fashion, and now guiding and inspiring the community of Beverly Hills. I'm delighted to talk to them both here on Rodeo Drive. Mona and Mayor Nazarian, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to be here with all of you.
Pleasure to have you. Clueless is back in Beverly Hills and we're celebrating. But first, let's do a quick summary of the movie for anyone listening who has not seen it. Clueless is a 1995 American coming-of-age teen comedy written and directed by Amy Heckerling. The film is a loose adaptation of Jane Austen's 1815 novel Emma. It stars Alicia Silverstone as Cher Horowitz, a stylish, popular, and good-natured teenager who lives in Beverly Hills and wants to do good deeds while examining her own existence. Heckerling studied Beverly Hills high school students to understand how teenagers in the 1990s talked, and she peppered her script with spicy and now iconic slang that only teens could say with a straight face.
As if.
Whatever. The film, however, created a fashion revolution thanks to Mona May. And Mona, congratulations. Can you tell us a little bit about this particular anniversary and how you're feeling about it?
I'm feeling incredible. I mean, an art, a film that lives 30 years and that, you know, women and new set of teenagers are still inspired by it. It's quite incredible.
It's amazing. And Mayor Nazarian, you and your team have been instrumental in bringing Clueless back to the city of Beverly Hills. Can you tell us why and what has the city and your community had access to?
Yes, thank you so much for that. You know, the movie Clueless is truly iconic, and the backdrop is nothing better than the most gorgeous sets of Beverly Hills. So we just thought that it would be a wonderful pairing to be able to celebrate the 30th anniversary along with the showing of the movie. We have various locations that we're doing different pop-ups and different installations and different partnerships. And our colleagues are very excited. We're very excited in the city to be partnering with Clueless.
And in the celebrations in Beverly Hills and elsewhere during this anniversary, are you seeing a new teen audience come to the movie, or is it more of a reunion of people that saw it originally in the 90s?
I think it's both. I think it's really everybody's coming in. The women who saw the movie when it came out in 95, that, you know, they were teenagers and now they're daughters, and the new artists, you know, the new crop of fashion designers and costume designers who look at Clueless as an inspiration. So, I mean, I meet women and men of all ages, and you know, now the 16-year-olds are coming up to me and saying, I love Clueless, it's the best movie, it's my favorite movie.
Yeah, I plan to bring my niece to our launch where the movie is going to be played, and she's a big fan as well. So it really has
How old is she?
Stood the test. She's 15. It has generational appeal, which is pretty remarkable.
I mean, the kids now are pretty cool. They have the Instagram. Everybody's a fashionista. I know about the designers, and for these clothes from the film, the costumes, the fashions to stay relevant, it's quite amazing.
So, I mean, this movie was made before all the social media and TikTok and Instagram. I mean, do you think today a movie of its kind could have the same impact now that the media landscape has changed so dramatically?
I think it would be a different thing. I think we could have this impact because there is Instagram and there is the social media that we didn't have. But it's a different market in a way. When Clueless came out, everybody dressed grunge in 1994 when we were preparing the movie, and the movie set a new rule of dressing. I created a whole another fashion landscape for girls to be feminine, for colors. I mean, when you went to high school in Van Nuys or Beverly Hills at the time, nobody dressed. Everybody was in baggy clothes. So it was really kind of the moment when the movie came out, everybody wanted to dress differently. And it was like the blueprint of, okay, here we are. Let's be feminine, let's be fashionable, let's really have the high-end clothes in high school. I mean, it was revolutionary, really, truly, at the time. So that was that impact that people were ready. I think this now would be a different impact because then social media would just make it big.
Everybody was ready for that plaid skirt.
Exactly.
And just, so our listeners understand a little bit about, how you came to even, be involved in this. You grew up in India and spent time in Europe before coming to New York and then to LA. How did that shape your interest in design and becoming a costume designer?
I was that kid who always loved dressing up and drawing the princesses in all different collections already as a young child. But, being born in India and growing up in Europe, Poland, Germany, traveling a lot with my parents as a kid, kind of positioned me and made me a person who was very aware of different cultures and kind of how people dressed in Italy, how people dress, in the Middle East and Japan. I was really absorbing all of that. And, now we talk about globalization and being global, having a global point of view. We didn't talk that way in the 90s. But it didn't give me a very specific perspective to design the film. I also was a fashion major before I became a costume designer. So that was also a very important part of bridging the fashion and costume design, So as I said, we didn't have a blueprint how people dress. So I had to really find the fashion on the outside, from the runways, and then bring it back into the environment of Beverly Hills and high school and really kind of find the right way of creating, as a costume designer, characters, authentic girls that people would love.
And do you think that you have a signature style?
I think I do. I think the color is my signature. I think if you really look at my movies, Romeo and Michelle, Clueless, Never Been Kissed, Wedding Singer, Enchanted, House Bunny, Stuart Little, you really have a certain signature of color, of kind of joie de vivre, also whimsy. I feel like my costumes are very whimsical as well. There's something when you're watching actors in the films that when I dress them, there's some kind of delight. I think you want to laugh, you feel good. It's empowering, I think, also for females.
That's right. Yes.
And the film was obviously shot in California, and many of your projects have been California settings. Has that influenced the color palette?
Absolutely. Rodeo Drive, California, Los Angeles, it's all about the green, the flowers, palm trees. The climate too, what you wear and how you wear it. It's a different kind of layering. You don't have to wear the heavy coats.
That's right. We were talking about the weather. Yes. And the colors always come to life. And that's one of the fun things about watching a movie like Clueless. You see the energy. I think energy comes from what you wear. When you wear outfits that you enjoy, that make you feel good, that make you feel... that they give you, they uplift you. They give you confidence.
Yes,
all of that is all encompassing.
Yeah, and California. I think we are here, like the Rodeo Drive. We are the Mecca. This is where everybody can come and look what's the latest, what's the coolest. And at the time too, when we made the movie, there was no Amazon.com. There was no way of getting clothes. So we were bringing these fashions to the masses. And they were able to be inspired by the clothes and dress like it.
It's so fantastic.
And Meddlesome, how did you first encounter the film years ago in the 90s, and why did it appeal?
I just think that it had a certain kind of energy and a certain kind of excitement that people could really resonate with and they could gravitate towards. I remember being young and always thinking about where can we find that skirt? Where can we find Where can we find those outfits?
Where do we find the over-the-knee stockings or the fun hats?
So there was a big influence, and it also makes me proud to see so many iconic locations still in Beverly Hills that were in the movie, whether it was the electric fountain or the witch's house, or of course none other than the iconic Rodeo Drive. And I think what makes Rodeo Drive so special that people still want to be able to come and walk as Cher did is that it's still relevant. The stores are still spectacular. I mean, where else can you find Frank Gehry and Louis Vuitton coming together to make these beautiful buildings come to life? It's just so exciting.
Mona, how did it all begin with Amy? How did you meet and how did this journey begin?
It was a made match in heaven, I have to say. We
sweet.
we actually met on a pilot. She hired me to do a pilot. It was about 2 girls in New York City, kind of party girls. The pilot didn't get picked up, but we formed this incredibly creative relationship. And, I love working with females. I love working with female directors. And also Amy is just incredible writer, incredible artist. She loves fashion, which was just, we were like the two birds together. And when she wrote, she also knew that I grew up in Europe and, my background. So when she wrote Clueless, she called me, she said, I really want you to do this film. This is exactly who I need for this. I need a very different point of view, something that's going to last a long time.
I think something that's really special with you, Mona, is that you empower women. And your designs empower women. They give women energy and excitement to be themselves and to feel their courage and their strength within come to the level.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so important to me. I work with so many young actresses. I mean, at the time when we were making the movie, everybody was super young. And, I do a lot of female-driven films. And it's so important to me to be with an actor, and create the costumes, create the characters together and make them feel empowered, feel good. So it is the characters, it's the storytelling as a costume designer, what the character is going through in the film. But behind it, there has to be the strength and there has to be empowerment for the actor to play this character.
And that was very much sort of Cher's journey in terms of finding herself and finding her confidence. And she had more than 60 costume changes in the movie.
63.
And even had her wardrobe programmed into a computer so she could scan for the perfect outfit.
Yes.
So that was very ahead of its time. I mean, ahead of any digitization or AI.
Completely. I mean, this is 90s. This is pre-computers, really, pre-cell phones. We had the big clunky phones, and we were really analog. But Amy was so brilliant. And it's happening. We can have it now. There is an app that actually Clueless and Paramount Studios have. Yeah, that's called Fitted.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it really works. Really, you can put your clothes in there. You can photograph your clothes. Did you see it?
Yes,
so
I saw it. And when we were in the suite, I had the opportunity to look at this beautiful room that was designed in Cher's likeness and some of your sketches that were there, pretty remarkable. Yes. And this was one of the items that were there, and you're able to scan and put outfits together.
Yes, we curated clothes from Bloomingdale's, and then they actually scanned all the clothes so you could put outfits together and be like Cher.
And does it warn you of the misfits like it does in the movie?
I don't know about that. But it should.
So cute.
Maybe it should be my voice. No. Not approved.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
That's cute.
So can you tell us a little bit, Mona, about the fashion of Beverly Hills? I mean, obviously this was, Beverly Hills in the 90s. Did you spend time in the city and at the high school to observe all the students?
Well, we went scouting to different high schools all over Los Angeles. But as I said, everybody was really more grunge. Even in Beverly Hills, girls didn't dress the way that they were portrayed by me in a film. I think Amy spent a bunch of times with the kids to learn the lingo. The as if and the Monet.
Whatever. Yeah. I'm very good at that.
So really, there was not really something on the ground that was inspiring enough. So we had to really change it around and bring the fresh, youthful, fun, feminine fashion.
Fantastic. Well, Rodeo Drive has unveiled its Rodeo Drive Celebrates Fashion initiative this week. It turns a spotlight on the extraordinary craftsmanship and innovation in fashion that can be found at the more than 100 luxury brands and fashion houses on the street. A question for you, Manazarian. What do you think Beverly Hills style is today?
So I think Beverly Hills style is always iconic, and it's what you make of it. But it's always elevated and sophisticated. And, with Rodeo Drive as the backdrop, there are so many various fashion iconic stores and brands on Rodeo. So there's a little bit of something for everyone. You mentioned grunge. I was never into grunge. That wasn't something that was my style. But the beauty of Rodeo Drive is that there's something for everyone, but just a little bit more elevated and special. So it's very exciting.
And I think also the people here are so sophisticated in the way that it's displayed, the way that you can learn how to wear something too,
right.
How to put something together. I mean, I love seeing the displays here too, are so beautiful, so elevated. I mean, it's art in itself.
It is. The windows, from the windows to all the items in the stores, you just really, there's a little bit of something for everyone.
Yeah, and to the last detail of the hat and the sunglasses, I just love it. Exactly how Cher would like it.
So good.
Perfection. So we talked a little bit about how fashion can, sort of shape your persona, can empower you. Manazarian, you have your Sharona's Innovation Circle, which brings together 18 to 25-year-olds interested in exploring brand partnerships. And there's a concept of future-proofing the city. Is fashion a part of that, and why does the city need future-proofing?
Yeah, so thank you for that. It's for 18 to 28-year-olds, and I believe that our young professionals are the wave of the future. So this was a way to open doors and allow them to share their views, and brand partnership is absolutely a part of it, whether it's with clothing or other items that we have in mind, that is something that the group is interested in. And, this demographics is also, they have a very large expenditure income that they're able to share, which is rare, I think, compared to other generations. And we're excited to be able to celebrate that and to listen and to learn and to collaborate together.
Great. And so, Mona, turning to your new book, The Fashion of Clueless, and it's due to be released, I believe, on October
21st.
October 21st of this year.
Publishing.
And you can pre-order now online, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
So the book is billed as being about behind the scenes.
I love it.
Can you give our listeners any sort of sneak peek into what they might find that they don't know already?
I mean, it's a great record of just what the iconic looks that, I created for the film. And there's pictures from sets, from behind the scenes that have never been published. We also found something crazy, which is the costume continuity Polaroids that we take on set of actors, because there was no cell phone. So it really, and they actually survived in the perfect condition. So they're going to be included in the book as well. And also, oh my God, right?
That's so
Polaroid
fun.
that 30 years didn't get disintegrated or, didn't fade. And, conversations with the actors, with Alicia Silverstone and Paul Rudd, just reminiscing of the times that we were together, as all of us very young actors and, creative people, and what impact it had on our lives too, how it really changed us. Is how also Amy, this really, really creative director, opened us up, all of us, because we were like sponges. That was one of my first big studio films, and she allowed me, she kind of took the genie, opened the bottle and the genie came out, and here I, became this incredibly confident designer in a way.
Alicia was not really interested so much in fashion, right? She was more, I read, interested in her activism and saving the world. Was that challenging to work with her with so many costume changes?
Well, as a costume designer, when you bring the costumes to an actor, it's a journey because they really learn about the character through trying the clothes on. When you're putting, I think, in a daily life, right? You put something on, you feel more feminine or more as a tomboy. So it was a really cool time for us, kind of like in the laboratory in our fittings. Trying the clothes on. She was able to learn who Cher is. She had to kind of learn how to walk differently and flop her hair. So it's very informative for the actors. I think she was surprised because she was running around pretty much in sweatpants with her 2 dogs in tow. To try and make 63 changes, you have to try a lot of clothes.
You are what you wear? You believe in that?
Yes, absolutely. She became Cher.
That's right.
Clothes, yes.
And I wondered was Cher modeled on Twiggy in any way? Because they sort of look the same, and some of the 60s outfits that Twiggy wore were not dissimilar to...
Somewhat. I think, again, through my kind of international upbringing and seeing different cultures and timelines, I really wanted to bring something very timeless. So it's a little bit of Twiggy. There's a little bit of Sophia Loren there. I mean, there's, just pieces that are quintessential feminine, the twin sets, the empire waist, the cap sleeves, the A-line skirts, things that are really good for us. We know that we can wear them and feel great and strong and empowered.
Except for the empire waist. But
I
the
know
rest
some.
of them, yes.
But the young girls can do it.
Yes, they can.
That was a little nod to Emma, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Jane Austen.
Yes. But all beautiful and all classic.
Yes.
Who doesn't have a plaid skirt in their closet?
Oh, my God. Tartan. I mean, Vivienne Westwood, I was just looking at the store, and McQueen had a beautiful tartan dress right now. It's gorgeous. So I think we should all have one.
And I think there's a great story about the yellow plaid, right? You weren't necessarily intending that, and then...
I was not, yeah. It was, what was very important to us, to Amy and myself, that the first day of school is absolutely fantastic. You meet Cher, she's in the quad, again, California, palm trees, green, bougainvilleas, a lot of people crossing in front of her. So she had to pop. And we decided on a plaid suit, which was a little bit nod to like a Catholic schoolgirl uniform, the plaid skirt with a little sweater vest. So I decided on a plaid suit. I found a beautiful blue one, which I thought would be perfect on Alicia with her blonde hair, right? Again, great skin tone. Found a red one. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw the Jean-Paul Gaultier yellow. So I was like, it's such a good color, but I don't know with blondes. Mm-hmm. It may not work. In the fitting, again, laboratory, trying things on, put the blue suit on, beautiful, but just it didn't have this oomph. Red, immediately Amy was like, this is too Christmassy. We have the Christmas palette later. Here comes the yellow, and it was just, we truly got almost like,
You had the vision.
We had the vision, and it was perfect because she became the queen bee, yellow, sunshine, and completely the queen of the school.
With all the colors around her, it worked perfectly.
Around her. Yes, and it really, and I think to this day, it's something when you look at color, look at this yellow. Plaid is synonymous with Clueless. It's actually the cover of my book, The Yellow Plaid.
Fantastic. And I know that in the film you've mixed designer clothing with vintage pieces and also with pieces that you made yourself. One of the challenges you refer to is how do you make the runway age appropriate?
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, and we didn't have a big budget. It was about $25 million total for the film, so that's not a big budget. And the costume budget was only about $200,000, which I had to dress probably over 1,500 kids in school, not just Cher, not just Dion, but all the extras, because they came in the morning in their grunge, and we had to remake them to look like Beverly Hills. And I think the challenge was to really take the runway fashions, but turn them, through the lens of high school, of 16-year-old girls. We didn't want snooty models running around in high heels. That's why they was always age appropriate with the skirts, the A-line skirts, with Mary Janes instead of stilettos, because you wanted them to feel authentic, and you wanted to
young,
and
really, energy.
Yes, and innocence in some way too. It was very important that we stayed true to the characters. And as a costume designer, it's really important. And I think the other part of the questions you had about the high and low, and that was also mother of invention, not having a lot of money, not being able to go to all the Rodeo Drive boutiques. There was no PR machine sending me clothes. There was all young actors. So really was, using the few pieces I could, the Alaya dress, the Calvin Klein, the Jean-Paul Gaultier suit. But then I had to go to the thrift stores and, buy some funky, cool stuff, or go to Melrose and shop in the rave shops and, go to the mall and rummage into Contempo Casual. So it really was...
Oh, Contempo Casual! I remember. But isn't that what style and fashion is? It's about your own individuality and your own creativity and your own style.
Important.
Being able to put things together and be creative about it.
So important. And I think now it's much more open. We are more open. It's gender fluid. It's, all the sizes are inclusive. It wasn't like that then. You didn't really wear... Like now you have the Balenciaga purse with the ripped jeans and your flip-flops and, the expensive fedora. Then we didn't dress like that. So it was very fresh as well, and kind of, for kids to introduce them to being able to find the different pieces and mix them together, to find the style, the personal style.
Right.
Yeah.
So talking about personal style, a question for you, Nazarian. Has there been a style that you've adopted for your civic roles? And, how do you manifest yourself by what you wear?
Well, I've always been in professional settings, and I've always pretty much dressed very similar to the way I dress now. Perhaps a little bit more color. Yay! As a woman, I think it's important to express your own individuality and also represent one of the best cities in the world. Yeah. So I always try to be mindful of that.
I mean, you're wearing a beautiful suit today, which is made of lace. And
yes.
It's fuchsia pink, which is quite beautiful, with a beautiful white blouse. So it's on point.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mona May approved.
That means a lot coming from you, the fashion icon expert.
The movie is female forward, but men play an important role in sort of romantically as protagonists. How did you approach the costume design for the male characters and their looks?
Well, when the girls dress well, the guys have to dress well too. I mean, Cher would never date anybody who doesn't dress well. So Christian had to be fabulous, and he had his little, very much Rat Pack inspired and James Dean looks, which was, very important too. He was a gay character, but when we meet him, we didn't know that he was gay. So we also wanted to kind of create a look that not immediately screamed at. So I think this kind of classic 40s Rat Pack look was fabulous, and the actor wore it so well. I mean, he kind of looked like a James Dean in a way. And then we had Murray, Stacey Dash, Dion's boyfriend, who, I mean, also she was a fashionista. She would never go with anybody. So he had head-to-toe collar looks and Kangol hats. And it's so funny when we were talking, when I was talking to him for the book, he said, Mona, I learned everything about fashion from you, and then I finally started getting dates when I started dressing better.
Amazing.
So yeah, boys had to be elevated. And it was fun. We had the skateboarder kid, and we had... all the elements of high school too. So you have the drama club, you have the nerds, you have the stoners. So it was really fun to create this very rich kind of tapestry of a high school.
And there was quite a lot of watches and jewelry
my God.
Yeah,
everything, and hats, and when you really look at the film, and especially if you can see it on a big screen, it's wonderful to see the background, what people are wearing. I mean, there was not detail spared, truly, to make sure that we are encapsulated in this Beverly Hills fashion.
You could tell that every detail was absolutely looked at and a big reflection of Rodeo Drive and the iconic brands, even though they were high school students. It was in Beverly Hills after all.
Yes.
So
yes.
We absolutely saw that.
And, that was the first movie really that, girls saw themselves dressed like that in high school. We were the forerunners of all of the films that came after us, the Legally Blonde, the Mean Girls. And so it was really fun to be kind of, the first one.
Yeah. And the boys always dress if they want to impress.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. They change their look very quickly.
Yes.
Do you see that Clueless fashion had an influence on millennials and Gen Z fashion in sort of shaping the likes of Paris Hilton and Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan?
Absolutely. And I think it just, continues, with Taylor Swift and everybody else. And Iggy Azalea did a video, kind of paid homage to all the costumes in the film. Kim Kardashian wore a Halloween costume inspired by Clueless with her daughter Norge a couple of years ago. So it's quite amazing how it really keeps coming, and the 90s are so big right now.
It was clearly a sort of fashion revolution from the movie. What do you think was the tipping point that really caught on?
The girls were ready. I think it was that moment in culture that we were ready to shed off the baggy clothes and start really wearing, feminine clothes and be empowered by it. And, it's the movie is so great on so many levels. I think it's friendship, it's great script. You were falling in love with Alicia Silverstone on the screen.
Coming of age.
Coming of age. You couldn't take her eyes off of her, right? Mm-hmm. So there's just so many fun elements, including the fashion, to watch the movie that I think, it's the fashion, of course, but it's not one thing.
Yeah, it makes you happy, right? It makes you happy. It's cute. It's fun-loving and really positive energy. Even areas where she's driving her Jeep over the curb, it's just cute. You're just like, oh my God.
You almost killed somebody, but it's okay.
You just hope people have better sense.
I know. But I think that's kind of the essence of it, just makes you feel really good. It uplifts you, and we need it now. I think everybody needs it. I get so many letters from teenagers, DMs nowadays, where they say, oh, I was so depressed and this movie helped me so much, or, you really, when I watched Clueless, I wanted to become a costume designer or a fashion designer. this is amazing, that can have that kind of impact on people.
Yeah, positive energy.
Yeah. So, Men, is there any closing thoughts on fashion and how we, and especially teens, present ourselves today?
Yes, well, I think that fashion is your own individual style, and it's so exciting to see that Rodeo Drive still remains a relevant spot and the place to be for fashion and the iconic brands in Beverly Hills, and we look forward to the next 30 years and what Clueless has to offer then.
Fantastic. Well, that's the perfect moment for us to close, and congratulations. I'm raising my imaginary glass to Clueless at 30 and to your extraordinary work, Mona, in fashion and in film, and to Mayor Sharona Nazarian for galvanizing Beverly Hills in support of this iconic Hollywood movie and continuing its journey and keeping the focus on friendship alive. Thank you both for joining the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Rodeo Drive, the podcast, is presented by the Rodeo Drive Committee with the support of Beverly Wilshire, a Four Seasons hotel. This episode was hosted by Lyn Winter. I'm Kathy Gohari with the Rodeo Drive Committee. Join us on Instagram at Rodeo Drive.